नमस्सुन्दरनाथाय तस्मै हालास्य वासिने चतुष्षष्टि विधालीला येनाकारि भुवस्थले श्रीमत्सुन्दरनाथस्य देवीं शभरलोचनां कलये हृदये नित्यं कदम्ब वनवासिनी पूतं स्वतः पूततरं ततो यद्गाङ्गम्पयः शङ्करमौलिसङ्गात् तत्पातु मातः प्रणयापराध पादाहतैः पूततमं ततो नः. We had just one session for the second Sarga, and I just gave a brief introduction of the poet and the work as such. So we are in the second Sarga, where the story actually starts. According to Mahakavya Lakshanas, you start off with the description of Sargabandho Mahakavyam Uchyate Tasya Lakshanam. In the sense, Nagara, Arnava, Shaila, Ritu, these are the descriptions that have to be there in a Mahakavyam. Keeping with that, if you look at Kalidasa's Kumarasambhava, he starts off with the description of Himot Parvatam, where the scene where Parvati was born and where Shiva was doing his tapas, both of them met at Himot Parvata. So that is the scene where everything happens. In the same manner here too, Shiva's 64 the 64 Tiruvalayadal or the Leelas that he performed were in and around Pandya Desha. So Pandya Desham becomes an important scene for us, and that is the background. And to set, see, for such a great performance to happen, the background should also be very beautiful. And so he starts off with describing the background. That contributes to the greatness of the subject matter also. So he starts off with Asti Kshiter Abharanayamanaha Pare Samudram Sahi Pandya Deshaha Asham Agasthyadhyushitam Gatopi Sarvottaro Yo Jagati Pratitaha. The first description of Pandya Desha, the Saha Pandya Deshaha Asti, and this continues for about 24 shlokas. Until the 24th shloka, you will find the Yat Shabda connecting with the Saha Tat Shabda in the first shloka. So Agastya, who moved from the north to the south in order to keep Vindhya in check, he resided in this Pandya Desha. He mentions Agastya in many places right through the entire Kavyam. Agastya, it's appropriate that he starts off with Agastya Adhyushitam Asham. The Dakshina Pradesha or the Dakshina Dik, the southern direction and the places, the lands that are there in the south were occupied by Agastya, whose birth itself was very unique. And even though he was small in stature, yet because of he residing there, that entire southern lands were considered as Sarva Uttara. It was supposed to be the ornament of the earth. Kshitehe Abharanayamanaha Pare Samudram. Pandya Desha was extending until the Samudra on both sides. Both the Kerala Desha was also included, and this side you have the other, until the Indian Ocean, the Desham existed, extended. It is a very old, the race of Pandyas who belong to the Pandya land is also a very ancient set of people who have been, there is a mention of them in Ramayana and Mahabharata also. Right? So this Pandya Desham extended till the ocean, and it was in the direction where Agastya lives, and it is known to be greatest in the whole world. Sarva Uttaraha Sarveshamapi Utkrishtaha Pandya Deshaha. Now this Yaha Jagati Pratitaha, that Yat Shabda is going to follow in the following shlokas. Asthaya Vairagyam Anuttamam Yaha Trailokya Lakshmim Na Trinaya Mene Yad Adhipatya Sprihaya Saeva Devo Dadhe Sundara Pandya Rupam. Yad Adhipatya Sprihaya Saeva Devo Dadhe Sundara Pandya Rupam. The king who was ruling this Pandya Desha was called Sundara Pandya, and Sundara Pandya is a Sakshat Avatara of Shiva. That's why Shiva also gives, how Shiva comes in front of Sundara Pandya, and he also gives his Nagabharanam and asks his the Abharanam, Naga, the serpent, to give the boundary of Madurai. When I was explaining the introduction, this Madurai is called, or the Pandya Desham, where Madurai is the central place. That Madurai is also called Halasya Kshetram. Hala means a serpent, and the Asyam is its mouth. Apparently, the serpent took its own tail in its mouth and started growing to show the outer boundary of Madurai. Okay, so Asthaya Vairagyam Anuttamam Yaha. Now, in this shloka, Nilakanta Dikshita brings about the king who was ruling. He talks about the king who was ruling Pandya Desha, which is Sundara Pandya. And Sundara Pandya is supposed to be the avatara of Shiva himself. Asthaya Vairagyam Yaha Vairagyam Asthaya Dakshinamurti Rupena Shivaha eva Parama Vairagyam Avalambya. Asthaya ityukte Avalambya. He took up an asceticism, Vairagyam. Vairagyam is Viragasya Bhavaha, one who does not have any attachment, or one who thinks of the Vishaya, worldly pleasures, as Tucham. Vishayeshu Tuchha Buddhihi eva Vairagyam. So one who has a very, does not have any interest towards worldly pleasures, and he thought of the entire wealth in the entire three worlds as worth of straw, as not even worthy to be equal to a straw. So Trailokya Lakshmim Trinaya api namene athava Trinavat Tuchamapi naganayamasa. So sometimes even the straw, which has a little bit of value, maybe a little bit of value, grass, you can say, so that he is not even, he doesn't consider this wealth of the three worlds to be even worthy of a small grass. Cannot be, which is, it is even worse than that. He does not want to even consider the wealth in the three worlds. If there are any questions, please reserve it to the end of the session. I will reserve about 15 minutes for that, and you can raise your hand then. I will unmute you. You can ask your questions then. Please make a note of it. Yaha Shivaha Anuttamam Vairagyam Asthaya, having taken up Anuttamam is the highest of that which cannot be surpassed at all. Uttamam is something which is highest. Anuttamam, there can be nothing beyond the Vairagyam that Shiva has. Ekaishwarye sthitopi pranata bahupale. In Manavikagnimitram, he starts off with this Nandi Shloka to talk about this Vairagyam that Shiva has. Even Kantardha Shariropi, even though he has given half of his Shariram and always is constantly present with the woman, he is still spoken of as Yoginam api Yogi. He's the foremost Agresaraha. He's the foremost among the yogis. So he's the greatest among the people who practice Vairagyam. So Yaha Anuttamam Vairagyam Asthaya. So it can only refer to Shiva here. So Dakshinamurti Rupena Athava Shiva Ardhanarishwara Rupena api. You can take it that way also. Even though he has a Parvati in one of his half, he is still spoken of as the greatest yogi. Right? The moment you think of tapas, you only think of Shiva in his tapas posture. Right? So Yaha Anuttamam Vairagyam Asthaya. Having taken up that Vairagyam, he did not consider na mene kim Trailokya Lakshmim Trinaya api na mene. He did not think of it as even equal to a grass. Which one? The Trailokya Lakshmi. Lakshmi is Aishwaryam. Triloki, the Triloka Sambandhi Trailokya Lakshmi hi Tribhuvana Aishwaryam api Trinavat Tucham Naganayamasa. Sayeva Devaha, the same Shiva, who has a great Vairagyam, Sayeva Devaha, Yat Adhipatya Sprihaya. This is the Yat Shabda that we need for Saha Pandya Deshaha. So, Yasya Pandya Deshasya Adhipatya Sprihaya. Yasya Deshasya. So in order to, because he wanted to, spriha is asha, ichaya, because out of desire to adhipatya, to rule or to get the sovereignty of this land, he took the form of Sundara Pandya. Sundara Pandya Rupam dadhara, he took up that form. Okay. So, yeah, asthaya. Saha Pandya Deshaha asti. Every shloka until the 24 shlokas, you will have to attach the first part from the first shloka. You will take it as Saha Pandya Deshaha asti. Just like in Kumarasambhavam or any other, Kumarasambhava is the best example because a lot of people might have studied the first Sarga. So, I'm taking that as an example. He starts with Asti Uttarasyam Dishi Devatatma Himalayo Nama Nagadhirajaha. So Himalayo Nama Nagadhirajaha Asti. Yaha Yam Sarvashailaha Parikalpya Vatsam. Iti Pratyekasya Shlokasya Yachabdena, whatever is given by the Yachabda has to be connected with the Tat Shabda in the first shloka. That's why if you find in the following shlokas, I would have given this in bracket, and this is to be understood as taken from the first shloka. So, asthaya vairagyam anuttamam yaha devaha anuttamam vairagyam asthaya. Anuttamam anupamam vairagyam vishayeshu tuchcha buddhi. So, tuchcha buddhim asthaya avalambya Trailokya Lakshmi, Tribhuvana Aishwaryam Abhi, Trinaya. Trinaya here, you give the fourth case when there is an Anadara Karmani. So, Manya Karmani, Anadare Vibhasha Apranishu is the sutram that is applied here. So, when someone does not even think much about it, then you use that word in fourth case and say Trinaya Namene. He did not think of it as even equal to Trina Sadrisham api namene iti. Sayeva Devaha, the same Lord Shiva, he Yadadhipatya sprihaya, Yasya Deshasya Pandya Deshasya Adhipatyam. Adhipatyam is Adhipati is Lord, Prabhuhu, Adhipatyam becomes the Prabhutvam, or the desire to rule that land. So he took the form of Sundara Pandya. Now Shiva's avatara is Sundara Pandya and he is the king in this land. Okay. So the next one, Sudushkaram Yat Pratisargameva Pashyan Munihi Prag Virarama Sargat Nashushkaya Santvagira Suranam Kim Gadhisunoho Api Shantirasti. This is a very tricky shloka to do Anvayam and explain, but I'll try nevertheless. So, Pandya Desham, the moment you look at Pandya, the country, it is like another Swarga. Now, when we say another Swargam, immediately in our mind, we will only think of Vishwamitra, who tried to create another Swarga for Trishanku. He wanted to send Trishanku to Swargam directly in his own form. Without usually you cannot go like that. You will have to give up this worldly body, shariram, and then only you can go to Swarga. Whereas Vishwamitra, being Vishwamitra, he wanted to try, and he took a pratigna that he will send Trishanku with his own bhautika shariram to Swarga. When he was pushed down, in the middle of the air itself, he stopped Trishanku and started building another Swargam. Right? Halfway down the lane, the Devas stopped him and said, this is beyond the rules of what, should be done. You have to follow the rules, whatever. And then they came to some negotiations and did it. But then here the Kavi takes another twist and he says, see, because the Devas came and asked, Santvagira, Shushkaya, their words will be very dry and without any passion, without any offering of, take this, I will give you this, tata. There is no negotiations there for Vishwamitra to feel, okay, because the Devas have come and asked me, I have to stop my construction of the second Sarga. He is not going to be a person who will be satisfied by these small words from Devas. He is much more powerful than them, and at the same time, he will not be satisfied with their words. So how did he stop his pratisarga? Pratisarga is a pratirupam sargam, a similar duplicate srishti. Why did he stop? After seeing Pandya Desha, which is like another Swarga, he decided to stop his Srishti, it seems. So this is a Sambhavana that the poet is trying to do. That is, he is fancying for a reason for Vishwamitra to stop his Srishti. Okay, so Vishwamitra thought that this entire creating another Swarga like Pandya Desham will be very difficult, and hence he stopped his Srishti here. So Sudushkaram yat pratisargameva pashyan munihi prak virarama sargat. So prak pura trishanku swarga nirmana samaye swargarohanat nivartitaya trishankave yada eshaha swargam srashtum udyuktaha asit tada. So prak, you'll have to define the time limit of when, before, long ago. It's not a fairy tale that you're starting and saying long ago, right? But here, prak ityukte, when Trishanku was going to go to Swarga and he was returned or he was pushed out of Swarga and he started to create another Swarga for Trishanku, tada prak. At that time, Yat pratisargameva sudushkaram pashyan. Pashyan, seeing that it is very difficult, sudushkaram, extremely difficult to create a duplicate. Pratisargam, pratirupaha sargaha, pratisargaha. So, pratirupaha means a duplicate, sargaha is srishti, creation, a duplicate creation. Yasya pratisargaha yasya yat shabdena tatra pandideshasya suchana. So in order to create a duplicate version of this land, of whichever land it is, that land is Pandidesha. So saha Pandidesha asti iti anvayaha tatra. So yat pratisargameva yasya Pandideshasya srishti antarameva sudushkaram ati kathinam iti pashyan janan. Understanding that munihi atra Vishwamitraha. Vishwamitra sargad virarama, he refrained from creation of another swarga. Natu na suranam shushkaya santvagira na, but not because of the very dry shushkaya santvagira. Santvanam some placating words, someone who is done the Tamil taja pandradhu. Aduda the Devanam Santvagira, Santvagihi is Tatti Kurta, please don't do this. It's maybe you should try something else. Trishanku is not yet ready to come to Swarga, or he cannot come like this. This is against the rules. Tata Shushkaya Gira, quoting just mere dharma and trying to stop Vishwamitra is not possible. So Vishwamitra did not stop from his creation because of Suranam Shushkaya Gira na Kintu Yat Pratisargam Dushkaram Niti Drishtva eva. Thinking that the duplication of Pandya Desha is difficult, he stopped. Not because the Devas were coming and telling him to stop. Kim Gadisunoho. Now this is like you'll have to take the last part of the shloka as a note that Nilakanta Dikshita is giving. It is not a connection to the Yat Shabda and Tat Shabda that is there with the Pandya Desha, but you take it as a side note that Nilakanta Dikshita is commenting on this situation. He says, Gadisuno rapi kim shantihi bhavati. Is it shantihi asti kim? Is it possible? Would the son of Gadhi sutaha, Gadhi suno rapi, sunuhu son putraha. Gadhi is the father of Vishwamitra. So in the Chandra Vamsham, you have the Raja called Kushika. Kushika's son is Gadhi and Gadhi's son is Vishwamitra. That's why you will find mention of Vishwamitra as Gadhi putraha, Gadhi sunuhu, athava Kaushikaha. If you find many people who have the name of Kaushik, Kaushikaha is Vishwamitra because he was born in the family of Kushika. Kushika is a king. So Vishwamitra is a Rajarshi. So Kushika Rajasya Putraha Gadhihi, Gadhehe Sunuhu Eva Vishwamitraha Atra. So Gadhi Sunoho Api, for the son of Gadhi, would he be appeased? Shantihi Astikim. Would he be very happy or, would he be satisfied by simple words from Devas? No, he is not a person who should be satisfied by that. He saw Pandya Desha. He saw that the Saundaryam that is there in it, and he decided that it is very difficult to duplicate this. Or to say that Swargadapi Pandya Deshaha eva Gariyan iti, it is he suggests that in the shloka, that it is better than Swarga. So Dushkaram yat pratisargameva pashyan munihi prak virarama sargat na shushkaya santogira suranam kim gadhi sunorapi shantirasti. Next one. Mandaniloso Malayaniloso Gandhaniloso itiyam yuvanaha sambhavayante chalitai shirobihi sa kopi yat kona bhavas samiraha. If you look at the clause of yat and tat, in this shloka, he is talking about the breeze that comes in from one corner of the desha. And that desha is Pandya Desha. So the Pandya Desham, he starts off with Kshitehe Abharanayamanaha Pandya Deshaha. And then slowly he moves into how it is within it. It looks like Swarga. And then there is a king Sundara Pandya. Now he goes into smaller details of the wind, the breeze that is there in the Desham. Then he will talk about the river that is there, Tamraparni. He will separately give some few shlokas for Tamraparni there. Then he goes into Kadambavanam. It's like a slowly going into focus of what we want there. Right? Now he talks of the Samiraha. Samiraha is a beautiful breeze that is there. Generally, the best breeze that we say is Malaya Marutam. Right? Marutam, the wind that comes from the Malaya mountain. Malaya mountain is one of the 7 Kulaparvatas. Kulaparvatas are the ranges of mountains that are there in Jambudvipam. You have Mahendro, Malayaha, Sakhyaha, Shuktiman, Rikshaparvataha, Vindhyascha, Pariyatrascha, Saptaite, Kulaparvataha. There are 7 Kulaparvatas, and those 7 are Mahendra, Malaya, Sakhya, Shuktiman, Rikshaparvata, Vindhya, and then Pariyatra. These are the 7 main ranges of mountains. We know that Vindhya mountain is there. We've seen that description in the first shloka itself. Now this Sahyadri and Malayadri are the 2 corner ranges of the Western Ghats. Right? The southwestern Ghats in the northwestern part is the Sahyadri, and the southwestern part is supposed to be the Malaya mountain. And from there you have this lovely breeze. In Kavi Samayam, Malaya Anila, Malaya Marutam is supposed to be very soft, very, it's not a storm that comes out, but it is a very slight, light breeze that comes. It is also supposed to accompany sweet music, because there are a lot of musicians there who are singing. And there is also a sweet fragrance that comes from there, because the Malaya mountain is supposed to be filled with sandalwood trees. So it takes the fragrance of those sandalwood trees and comes in. Right? Now he describes this, saying that this wind comes from one corner of this desha. That's all. Okay. Yat kona bhavaha samiraha yasya deshasya kona bhavaha, in a corner of which country there is a samira, there is a light breeze that comes. Saha deshaha Pandya deshaha asti. That Pandya desha exists in this world. Okay. So that is your connection. Iti anvayaha tatra. Now let's start from the beginning. Aso Malayanilaha. Aso Malayanilaha Malayachalasya anilaha pavanaha ayam Mandanilaha. It is a very soft breeze also. Gandhanilaha. It's also a fragrant breeze. Gandha anilaha, Gandha vahi anilaha, adama Gandha yuktaha anilaha. So Gandha vahi is Another word for Samira, breeze, is Gandhavaha, one who carries fragrance. So Gandhanila here is a Madhyamarpada Lopi Samasa, where Gandhavahi Anilaha, Gandhanilaha. It takes a beautiful fragrance and also comes. Now, who is talking about this breeze like this? Yuvanaha yam sambhavayante. There are a lot of youths who are able to enjoy this beautiful breeze. See, when you are in this romantic phase, this breeze is something that is very soothing, and immediately there is the idea of romance comes to the mind. That's why he beautifully picks up the recipient of this breeze as Yuvanaha, youth. So youth of this country, this desha, enjoy this breeze by saying asau mandanilaha, asau malayanilaha, asau gandhanilaha, iti yam anilam, yam pavanam, yuvanaha, sambhavayante anubhavanti. They enjoy this breeze. But when you are enjoying something, you don't just stay put like this, like a statue, and then enjoy. When you are enjoying, automatically there will be gestures that come out to show that you are enjoying automatically. You don't need to constantly shake your head or do anything. When someone is singing, unconsciously you will shake your head. It is not that you want to do something like that, right? Tatha atrapi chalitaihi shirobhihi sambhavayante. They're moving their heads constantly with the wind and trying to enjoy the wind. So yam pavanam yuvanaha tarunaha ayam malayanilaha ayam mandanilaha ayam gandhanilaha iti chalitaihi shirobhihi sambhavayante. The wind that is being enjoyed by youth with their shaking heads, kampita shirobhihi, they are enjoying this wind. Saha samiraha, saha kopi samiraha. It's this kopi is a word that you use to say anirvachaniya, something that cannot be clearly explained. So kopi rasaha, when you say it is a sweet taste, or it is an experience that cannot be described in words, anirvachaniyam. So you immediately say something yedo unnu abdingra. So that kopi samiraha, some beautiful inexplicable breeze starts where, from which corner of which desha this beautiful breeze comes. Saha Pandya deshaha asti. Yat kona bhavaha. Kona ityukte prante, corner. Kona bhavaha utpannaha kopi samiraha marutaha sayeva sadeshaha. Now if you look at the two yat shabdas here, yat tat, this yat shabda and this tat shabda goes to samira, whereas this yat shabda will connect to saha Pandya deshaha asti. So this is like, in mathematics, you have this bracket problem. You'll have a small bracket, and then you'll have a flower bracket, and then a square bracket. To solve, you go from the middle one and then go like that. So in the same manner, yat shabda and tat shabda are also like your bracket theory. So you will have to first solve the one that is within, and then go to the bigger brackets here. So mandaniloso, malayaniloso, gandhaniloso itiyam yuvanaha sambhavayante chaliteshirobhihi sa kopi yat kona bhavaha samiraha. There's one interesting this thing in this is the Dvitiyakshara prasam, which is very common in South Indian literature. In Kannada or Telugu or Tamil literature, you will find poetry. Most poetries will have this Dvitiyakshara prasa. Even in songs that you see where Vagyayakaras have written are from South, they would have used this Dvitiyakshara prasam. Dvitiyaksharam is also called Pranakshara in by many Alankarikas of South Indian literature. Now, Sanskritam, you will find this very, very rare. In fact, not at all. So much so that Kavya Prakashakara or any Alankarikas who have defined Shabdalankara have not at all thought about Dvitiya Akshara Prasam, whereas this Dvitiya Akshara Prasam is called a Prana Akshara Prasa. Prana Aksharam is the second letter. Example, here if you look at it, Mandaniloso, Gandhaniloso. So this is one pada and this is another pada. The beginning of each section of this shloka, the second aksharam is similar. You will find this in many South Indian literature. You can check it out, and even in songs, kirtanas, you will find that. So Mandaniloso, it's not common in Sanskritam, and it's not defined by Sanskrita Alankarikas also. This, I think, is more of an influence because he is a Tamil, he is from Tamil Nadu, and so he must be influenced by a lot of Tamil poetry also. Sambhavayante chalite shirobihi sa kopi yat kona bhavaha samiraha. Next one, akarita yatra makheshu vipraihi alokayanto vibudaha samriddhim yushman yajamo vayam arpayadve yushmat padam chet iti santvayante. He again goes back to saying how Pandya Desha is better than Swargam, because the way a lot of these Brahmanas are doing yagams in this country. Vipraihi makheshu, makha is yagam, and yageshu vipraha brahmanaha yagam kurvanti, yage havimshi dadati. So there is a havis that they pour into the yaga. That havis that is poured into that sacrifice is so rich in its content. Samriddhi. When you pour that havis, you are actually saying Indraya idam namama, whatever vayave. Each one you are calling each devata and giving that havis for them in that sacrifice. Now these devas are being called by that sacrifice, so the devas come there and they see this samriddhi, they see this sampatti with which they are doing the yagas. In this desha, yatra, yasmin pandya deshe, yasmin deshe, makheshu, yageshu, vipraihi akaritaha budhaha, vipraihi brahmanaihi akaritaha ahutaha vibudaha devaha. Devas, gods who are being called akaritaha by vipraha, by brahmanas, they come there and then look at that samriddhi that is there, the wealth that is being used in this yaga to perform the yagas. Samriddhim alokayantaha. Sometimes I feel the samriddhi doesn't give that tone that Tamil gives. It's my personal thing. Samriddhi also, I'm sure if people are used to that word, they will understand the wealth in that word. So samriddhim alokayantaha, when they look at that, the wealth of objects that are being used in that sacrifice, samriddhim alokayantaha, now they come and try to do negotiation with the brahmanas there. Devas are always forever looking at some other people's wealth and they think they don't have it and they want it. They're always afraid of their position being, they lose their position. Now they see that these brahmanas are enjoying much more wealth than that what they are enjoying. So it seems they are coming here and trying to negotiate with them. They're saying, Yushmat padam arpayadve chet. If you all, brahmanaha, yushmakam padam, yushmat padam, sthanam, if you all give us your position, we will give you sacrifices like this. See, the samriddhi that is there, they are using that samriddhi and giving it as an oblation, as a havis to the devas. Now these devas are very jealous of the wealth that is there. So they want to enjoy those wealth. So they come and tell these brahmanas, it seems, not true, but it's a poet's fancy there. Utpreksha. So they come and say, Yushmat padam arpayadve chet. Yushmat padam, yushmakam sthanam yadi yachata chet. If you all give your position to us, then we will use the wealth that is there and we will do, sacrifice for you, yagam for you. Yushmana vayam yajamaha, vayam yushmana brahmanana, vayam devaha juhumaha, yajamaha. We will do sacrifice for you, we will do yaga for you. Iti santvayante. They try to comfort these brahmanas by doing this. They did this in Bhagavatam also. If you read the Bhagavata Mahatmyam, initially, so this is the Krishna Katha is like a Sudha, Amritam. And Krishna Katha, Sudha yadhi labhyeta, manavai kim na grhyate. Vedanta Deshika says that. He says, if this nectar is given in the hands of men, wouldn't they take it, right? The same way when Shuka, Sri Shuka is sitting in his sabha and he is going to start the Bhagavata Katha to start it in front of the entire sabha and tell it to Parikshit. The Devas immediately come down with a pot of Sudha, nectar, the Amritam, and they come down to Sri Shuka and say, take this pot of nectar, give this to Parikshit, let him live an immortal life, give us Krishna Katha. Because that Krishna Katha is much more sweet and it gives immortality, moksham, whereas the Sudha gives only immortality. You will live for a long time, but you won't get moksham because of Amritam. Whereas Krishna Katha will give you moksham. So they always, forever, they will keep looking for opportunities to do such negotiations with people. So here also, Nilakanta Dikshita beautifully takes that attitude of the Devas and puts it here. That Desha, Saha Pandya Desha Asti, Yatra Yasmin Pandya Deshe, Makheshu, Yageshu. So where the gods are being called by Brahmanas, Vipraihi Akaritaha, seeing their wealth, Samriddhim Alokayantaha Vibudhaha Devaha, looking at their Samriddhi, their wealth, they comfort them. Santvayante. Katham Santvayante. How do they comfort them? What do they negotiate with them? They say, Yushmat Padam Arpayadve Chete. If you offer your position to us, Vayam Yushman Yajamaha. We will do sacrifice for you. We will offer sacrifices for you. Don't worry. Akarita yatra makheshu vipraihi alokayantu. So here also you find that he shows Pandya Desha is better than Sarga. It is a Vastudhvani here. So Swargadapi Pandya Desha Gariyaniti Atrapi, you will take it as Vastudhvani. Akarita yatra makheshu vipraihi alokayanto vibudhaha samriddhim Yushman yajamo vayam arpayadve Yushmat padam Ched iti santvayante. Here too, you will find the Dvitiyakshara prasa, like the last shloka. Yushman yajamo, Yushmat padam. The beginning and the second, you will find the Adhyakshara and the Dvitiyakshara prasa is there in this shloka. It's a very different way of using prasa. Whereas most of the shlokas don't have like this. Most of other kavyas or other poets don't do this. Next one. Tapovane anyatra tapascharanto divam bhajante yadi yuktametat tato adhike yatra tapasyatam hi tatraiva yuktaha suchiram nivasaha. If people live in another country, it's okay. They can do tapas and try to get swarga. That's fine. Yuktametat. It's appropriate that they do that. Parantu tatopi adhike yatra tapasyatam yatra yasmin deshe Tatopi adhika swargadapi adhikaha adhikam sthanam yat Pandya Desha. So this Pandya Desha is a place which is even better than Swarga. He has already spoken about it, described it in such a manner in the earlier two shlokas. So tatopi adhike tapasyatam. If people are doing tapas in a place which is much better than Swargam, why would they want to do tapas and go to Swargam? They would rather stay there in the same place. They do not want to move out of that place. That sort of a place is Pandya Desha. So anyatra tapovane. Anyatra, tra is always a tral is a pratyaya that you use instead of saptami vibhakti. So yatra ityukte yasmin iti saptami vibhaktyam vidyamane sati tatra yatra iti. Again I use that tatra, right? So tasmin, in that sthanam you can use the tra. So anyatra, anyasmin athava anyatra. So anyatra tapovane, in another tapovana. Tapovanam is a place where a lot of tapasa, people who want to pursue penance, go there and stay. So the anyatra tapovane, in another tapovanam, if they are doing tapas charantaha janaha munayaha, those who are doing tapas is something that you do. There are several ways, several goals for tapas. One is to attain Sarga. You can do tapas. These are all amushmika wealth, aishwaryam, that you want to attain. You can do krichram, chandrayana. These are all different kinds of vrata and tapas which involve trying to, for a want of better word, torture your own body and try to do all this thing. I can't use the word torture because it's not torture, but you are trying to condition your body in such a manner that you only think about the God and not about your body at all. You are slowly trying to reduce the wants of the body by training your mind and the body to undergo any sort of severities and try to extend the tolerability, titiksha, of your body. See, hunger is something, it's a very simple thing that we all know. We cannot handle hunger. But there are people who can handle hunger for a long time. Maybe even a day, too, they will stay. There are people who don't eat anything, only fruits during Navratri. All 9 days, they won't eat anything. No grains, nothing. Just thinking of it will give me headache now. Some people cannot stand hunger. Some people cannot stand, but some people can stand hunger for a long time. And so tapas is a way of training the body to undergo and tolerate certain severities so that you don't depend on food and water. These should not come as an obstacle in your path of tapas. So you can continuously sit and contemplate on that God. That is why these vratas and everything have come about. Right? So Swarga Prapti Sadhana Bhutam Api Asti Tapaha. Again, tapas can also be, as an ultimate goal, it can lead to moksha also. But if there are many people who are doing tapas charantaha, kutra anyatra tapovane, in some other place other than Pandya Desha. Pandya Desham vihaya anyasmin tapovane yadi ete tapaha charanti and divam bhajante yadi. If they want to attain Swarga, they want to go to Swarga, etati yuktam, it is proper, because they have not seen Swarga. They do not, they live in a place which is not very beautiful, which does not have so much of wealth and prosperity that is there in Pandya Desham. But tataha adhike divat adhike utkrishte yatra yasmin deshe tapasyatam tapascharatam Pandya deshe yadi te tapascharanti tarhi suchiram tatraiva nivasaha yuktaha. For a long time, suchiram bahukalam yavate nivasaha ashrayaha, I would take it as nityavasaha, uchitaha. It is appropriate, or it is fit for those who perform penance in Pandya Desha to want to stay here permanently. Why would they want Swarga? They will not want that, right? So, anyatra tapovane, again he indicates that this is better. He doesn't indicate, he directly says, tato api adhike, ityukte divat swargat api adhike Pandya deshe yadi tapaha charanti, tarhi te kimartham swargam gantum icchanti. Te tu atraiva vastum, they will want to do that, no? Icchanti. Tapovane anyatra tapascharantaha divam bhajante yadi yuktametat tato adhike yatra tapasyatam hi tatraiva yuktaha suchiram nivasaha. Okay. I'll stop with this. So any questions, you can raise your hand. I will unmute and namaste.
Namaste, madam. First, my small doubt is, have we learned 5 slokas today or 4 slokas? Because
4 shlokas.
Number was given as 5. That's why.
No, 6 in a portrait. No. I think it's 5 because I think this is 6 than idu.
Today we did 6 slokas, is it?
No, 5 shlokas because the first shloka I did it in the first class.
Yes. So actually we did 4 slokas today, no? Then
no, 5 shlokas. Ninga enni parunga apram.
Okay. And then this Malayadvaja Pandiyaraja Kanye அப்படின்னு வருது இல்லையா? அது கூட பாண்டிய மலையத்வஜம்ங்கிறதும் பாண்டிய தேசத்துடைய ஒரு சிம்பலேவா?
Yes.
அந்த மவுண்டன் ரைட் நவ் கேன் யூ ஐடென்டிஃபை வாட் இஸ் த மவுண்டன்? அது எங்க இருக்கு? பாண்டிய தேசத்துல எந்த மவுண்டன் சொல்றீங்க?
So it is probably the southernmost ranges which is called Malayagiri ne irukku. You can check that. Sometimes in Tamil literature it is also called as Podigai Malai. So whether Podigai Malayum Malayum onna illiyangirdu enakku avlo dooram theriyala. But for now you can take it as the lowest most southern range is called idu.
Okay. Western Ghats உடைய இந்த பக்கத்து பக்கம் வர
southern range.
ஓகே. அப்புறம் அந்த இன்னொரு ஸ்லோகத்துல எல்லாம் அனிலான்னு தானே வந்தது. அந்த பீஸுக்கு நீங்க சொல்லும்போது அதுல எவ்ரி வேர்டு ஹேட் இது பதம் as அனிலானோ?
Yes.
So அனிலானா ஃபயர்னா அர்த்தம் இல்லையா?
இல்ல, அனலா ஃபயர், அனிலா விண்ட்.
அனலா ஃபயர், அனிலா விண்ட். ஓகே மேடம். சமீரானாலும் பிரீஸா?
Yes.
Samira also breeze. Okay, madam. அவ்வளவுதான் என்னோட டவுட். ஏதோ நான் நம்பரை தான் இது பண்ணிட்டேன். Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Arun Kumar Mahodaya, you had asked.
Namamsi Mahodaya.
Namaste.
The first shloka, you said pranamapi na mene. Mene is which word, madam?
Mene வந்து மனு தாத்து மன்யதே, அதுக்கு வந்து லிட்லகார.
மன்யதே.
It is the litlakara for that. Atmanepadi.
Okay, madam. Litlakara. Okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Rama Mahodaya.
Namaskara, Bhagini. I just have this question. There is one thing that is being talked about. What do you call this? A portion of the Tamil land that has got submerged into the ocean. So, is there any reference anywhere in these part of Shlokas about that?
இல்ல இருக்காது, because this is during the 16th century that he has written. Whether there is anything in if you look at the source texts also, it is all in the 12th century, 8th century. அதுல இருந்து தான் வர்றது. நம்ம இந்த தமிழ் land which was submerged is more ancient than that, I think. It is not in the 20th century or 12th la irundhu kuda the land is as is now, right? There has not been much of a difference that I can see.
Okay. I live in Madurai basically. So I have this question all the time.
So Madurai submerge is different. So Madurai la vandu ennaachuna, Madurai Kovil, the temple itself was only standing and then the entire place was flooded. And so they did not know the area at that point during Sundrapandiyan's reign. And that is when a Siddha Purusha comes. That is, Shiva comes in the form of a Siddha Purusha. And then he throws his Nagabaranam, which becomes then after, and the moon naal kizhu and the idu vadiyardu. The floods go down. And that is when he starts to get the boundaries of Madurai again. That was during a huge flood, which was very similar to Pralaya.
Yeah. Okay. And also like I mean idla nariya the hyperbole concept இருக்கிற மாதிரி.
Atishayukti, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But atishayokti is different from என்ன சொல்றது, I think more of a pariyayokta. எனக்கு அது சொல்ல தெரியல. இது வந்து அதிசயோக்தினா உனக்கு exaggeration அவ்வளவுதான். So more like a poetic fancy, I would say, you know. Sambhavana.
And also the tendril katra, you are talking about the tendril katra,
Malay Marutam
and zephyr, we call it zephyr in English.
Right. Okay, breeze. Nice.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Lata Mahodaya.
That Malayaja Sheetalam is there in the Vande Mataram song. Is it the same?
So Malayajan அந்த இடத்துல வர்றச்சே Malaya, there are a lot of sandalwood trees in the Malaya mountain. So Malayajangarche, it's indicative of the Chandanam. So Chandana Sheetala. அதுதான். Yeah. You will find this. You will find this reference in a lot of texts. If you take Soundaralahari also, Dhanuv Paushpam Morvi Madhukaramayi Panchavishikaha Vasantas Samanto Malaya Marud Ayodhana Ratha. So Manmatha's Ratham is supposed to be Malaya Marutam, which is also only very particular direction. It is blowing from the south to the north. So he uses a very unreliable Ratham as his Vahanam. Manmatha. So in that context also you will find the reference to Malay Marutam.
Thank you.
Okay. Raman sir?
Just one remark. I don't think we should confuse the word hyperbole with the Kavi's freedom to describe things, correct?
So adlande enna hyperbole is a very different thing in the sense atishayokti nu solluvom. Enak in the English and Sanskrita alankaras I cannot understand the parallels between the two, but I would rather say it's a poetic fancy than a hyperbole,
exactly.
than an exaggeration.
Hyperbole normally implies an intention to deceive.
Okay.
No, yeah.
That I won't consider that here. I would rather take it as a poetic fancy where he wants to describe it in such a fashion. That's it.
Right.
It's his liberty, a poet's liberty.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. Shankari Modya.
Namaste Bhagini.
Namaste.
Trinaya na mene iti asti kila.
Asti.
एकः श्लोकः स्मर्यते रामानुजस्य स्तुति श्रीं यो नित्यम् अच्युत पदाम्बुज युग्मरुक्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने इति अस्ति. अत्र तृणाय न मेने इत्युक्ते तृणसदृशमपि नास्ति इति तादृशचिन्तनं वा?
आम् तदेव. यतः अष्टाध्याय्यां तु अत्र नकारेण सह एव नञ् इति उपयुक्तमेव अस्ति अष्टाध्याय्यां महाभाष्ये अपि. This is in accordance with the grammar, but a lot of people use it in the sense of trinaya mene ityukte trina sadrisham mene. Trina sadrisham aprayojanam ityeva tatra ubhayatha api swikartum shakyate. Not a problem.
पुनश्च यदा भवती वदन्ती आसीत् स्वर्ग किं देवाः आगत्य वयं यजामहे भवन्तः एवं परिवर्तनं पृष्टवन्तः, तदा साक्षात् भागवतस्य विषये एव स्मृतः मयापि. क्व काचमणिः क्व रत्नम् एव.
Yes, that's the
perfect word also. Tat padam aham bahu ishtavati. Samriddhi apeksha selip valam iti vadamah tattopi selip
adhikam selip la.
Tadeva bahu santoshah. Dhanyavadah Bhagini.
Thank you. Any other questions? Nasti iti manye. Okay. Dhanyavadah. We'll meet next week.
धन्यवादः महोदय. धन्यवादः.